Alright YouTube, so as you guys probably know, I'm not the best with sticking with series, but I'm expecting this series to finally change that. Ahsoka Season 1, I randomly got excited about this series and decided why not go back and watch it. My first time watching the pilot episode titled Master and Apprentice, which is a great and interesting title. So I'll be giving my opinions and a mini review on Ahsoka Tano Episode 1, Season 1, so let's dive in. I'll start by saying I really like the opening crawl. It really felt very nostalgic and very Star Wars-like, which is amazing. But what I really loved about this episode is that it felt like sort of a melting pot of Star Wars, whether it was the original trilogy, the prequel trilogy, the sequel trilogy, and The Mandalorian felt all fused together because I saw many references, and it also, some things I wasn't fond of some of those trilogies. I thought this movie did a lot better at fixing some of those things, such as in the sequel trilogy, where it also, used the good things of the sequel trilogy, such as the great visuals and the cool modern takes on a lot of Star Wars characters. And the opening with the two Sith, I know they're probably technically not Sith, but I'm just going to call them Sith anyway. Sith characters, the Master and the Apprentice. Destroying the Rebels was definitely interesting to see and a badass opening, so 2 thumbs up to the directors for that. Definitely gives me Darth Vader vibes, but nowhere near as slaughterous as Darth Vader, which, Darth Vader is unmatched. This episode really has me hooked because I really liked Ahsoka in the Clone Wars, but I never saw her at her best in the Clone Wars because I kind of fell off the Clone Wars sort of mid-series, but I've heard nothing but great things about the later seasons, and I did watch Bad Batch and a little bit of the final season, but I definitely got to go back and rewatch all the Clone Wars and the mini spin-offs because I know Ahsoka is definitely a highlight of it, and I can see why from this series as well. I think the effects and the makeup are great on her. I think she's a super interesting character and amazing. I love Ahsoka. And another thing I love about Ahsoka is her droid, who's a super funny character. Definitely gives me that 3PO vibe, but a little bit different, similar but different. I'm intrigued by the villains. I love all the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy references as well, and I recognize some of these ships from the Clone Wars, especially the Lego sets I owned, which definitely brings nostalgic tears to my eyes. So I will say, even though I kind of predicted that Thrawn would be in this series and I haven't read the Thrawn books in a while, that I was definitely really surprised and excited when I heard his name as a rumored villain coming back to the series, even though, like I said, I kind of had a feeling he was coming back because I may or may not have seen memes about him, but I haven't followed too much of the series, so I'm definitely going in pretty empty-minded and pretty open to excitement. And the last thing I'll say on this episode, because it's going to be a spoiler-free review, is I do recognize some of the characters from Star Wars Rebels as well as some of the references. I did watch Rebels when it first came out back in 2016 or 15, around that area, sort of little after The Force Awakens, maybe a little before, but point is The Force Awakens spiked my interest in Star Wars Rebels, but I didn't love it, but I did love the references in this series, and maybe Rebels is better than I remember, but wasn't incredibly fond, but I'm incredibly fond of this episode, and I'm excited to watch Ahsoka. I also got to go back to Skeleton Crew, but point is, it's a first world problem, and I have all these amazing Star Wars videos and Star Wars episodes to watch. But until then, thank you all for watching. Stay tuned more soon. Goodbye.